back to the channel here on Financial Friends. I want to welcome you all to the channel. If you're new here, Financial Friends is kind of a community and a space where, it's a very safe space for everyone to learn about finance, talk about finance, no judgment here, no education requirement or none of that. So if you're looking to kind of join a community of people who are very like-minded, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, join the friend group. We'd love to have you. And if you're a returner or if you're brand new, go ahead and smash that like button down below. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm and helps push these videos to more potential friends so we can have more people join the friend group here and learn more about finance, talk more about finance, etc., etc. So I'm very excited for today's video because we're going to be going over something that is extremely applicable to everybody, whether you've already started, whether you're an expert and you're trying to convince your friend to, get started and start investing or start planning your future, or whether you're brand new to investing and you're a little bit nervous to get started. These are the top 3 myths about getting started with investing. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the first reason, or the first myth rather, and that is that you need a lot of money. It simply just is not true. I have 2 examples here, both SoFi and Public are $5 or less minimums to get started. They're both apps you can download on your cell phone. SoFi being that $5 minimum to get started, and Public, you literally need $1 and that is it to get started with investing. So I highly recommend that you just kind of play around, look at the interface, download on Public. You can actually use a link down below to join Public if you're interested in getting started. I know a lot of you probably came over from Public and are watching this video. The Public community is fantastic. It's kind of like social media for investing. You can pick other people's brains, post polls, post charts, talk about stocks, and really kind of educate yourself through all the different creators over there. I'm a creator over there myself, so come and join the Public community, talk with us. It's $1 minimum to get started. And then SoFi, again, another fantastic app. I use this more for my retirement accounts and such, but it is only a $5 minimum investment. I know we can all spare a Starbucks coffee or a breakfast or a dinner out or something to get started planning our future. And I also want to kind of point out this graph here. So this is quite simply the power of compound interest. So you could see here, this gentleman here in the, on the left side, he saved $1,000, or we're going to use invested, the term invested instead. He invested $1,000 for only 10-year period, and he let that ride from the time he was 34 all the way till he was, you can see down here, 65 years old, and he ended up with $157,000. Now, that same gentleman, if he would have started at 35 and invested that $1,000 all the way up until the time he was 65, he'd only have $122,000. So the point being, you don't need a ton of money to get started. This gentleman used $1,000 a year. I don't even know how much that is a month. Divide that by 12. That's how much you need a month. You can work up to that $157,000 mark, which that 8% interest per year is not completely unreasonable. And actually the average kind of over time has been roughly 9 to 10%. So it's even a little bit more than that if you're using ETFs to kind of track the market. We're going to be talking about that soon. But the point being is, if you're younger, get started. Even if you're a little older, get started. As soon as you can get the ball rolling, even if it's not a ton of money, the better. You're going to be better off. Let's say, you're between the ages of 25 and 34 and you're a little concerned or you're not sure. Well, by the time you're maybe 35 and you're ready to start investing, even if you had $1,000 or $2,000 ready, already in the markets, already working for you, that power of compound interest from the time you were 25 and you first started all the way till you're 65, 70, whatever it is, it's going to be working for you all that time. So myth number 1, you do not need a lot of money to get started in investing. Moving on to number 2. Number 2 is that you do not need to know everything. So many people assume that you have to know everything about the stock market before you even think about entering it. That's not true. I'm going to be honest. I knew pretty much nothing. I watched a few Graham Stephan videos. Shout out to Graham Stephan. If you watch Graham Stephan, leave a like below in this video. And And that's it. I just got started in it. I just threw myself in and I learned as I went. And you might be a little confused if you're newer. If you're not and you've seen this either from me or you just know what VTI and VOO are, those are ETFs. And what ETFs are is essentially they track a market or a section of the market or an index or something like that. There's going to be a video linked up here somewhere for you if you want to go ahead and watch that. I made a video all about ETFs, so if you're interested, you could check that out. There will also have been a video already linked. It'll be linked below on compound interest if you want to find out more about that. But you can use ETFs to get that market average and track. And you might be a little kind of confused as to why I have a crossword. And I'm going to make a little analogy. I hope it makes sense. Whenever you were younger and you got a crossword or a search, word search, whatever you'd like to call it, and you're going to start doing the word search, you kind of pick a word out, and if you could follow my mouse here on the screen, you might be going all over the place trying to look for the word. And that's kind of what active investors do, or people who search out specific and individual investments to make. They're trying to find the best one that's going to earn them the best return. Let's say they think SoFi stock is going to do the best, or Palantir stock is going to do the best, and PayPal stock is going to do the best. They'll pick all three of those and they'll invest in them. An ETF is a little bit different. VOO and VTI. VOO is going to track the S&P 500, more on that in the video, but it's going to track the top 500 United States publicly traded companies. And VTI is going to invest in every single company in the stock market in the United States. Very easily, right? Pick basically all of them is what they're going to be doing. So that's kind of like, you can follow my mouse again, that's like going through each letter, right? And kind of when you find like the letter you're looking for, let's say S, you kind of looked off to this letter and you tried to find where the word was, and then when you found it, you circled it. It's kind of taking the slower, more average approach. You're not frantically looking all over, and that's going to lead us right into our next point. But before I talk about that, the people that are looking all over, those are called, again, active investors. And you can see I put a little note here that active investors often underperform. And what that means is instead of investing in the whole market, they try and pick those stocks. Oftentimes, they do worse than the whole market. And so I have an article here by CNBC, and it actually talks about how in 2020, one of the most volatile, or actually 2020 and the first half of 2021, those active investment strategies should have been fine. There were so many stocks that were rallying and going crazy that these active investors should have been able to outperform. And you can see that of the 3,000 active funds that Morningstar analyzed, only 47% outperformed the passive investment. Now, there were numbers being thrown around at one point of upwards of 90% of active investors underperforming. And if we scroll a little bit down here into the article, this long-term performance, so over this 10-year time horizon, only 25% of all the active funds beat the passive counterpart, meaning only 25% of the people scrambling all over the word search did better than people who just took their time and went a little slower. So just some food for thought, essentially, that you do not have to be this crazy active investor searching all over. You can simply invest in the market as a whole and ride it. Number 3 is going to be that investing has to be difficult. And it kind of ties into these other points here of you have to know everything and you need a ton of money. It doesn't need to be difficult. I have, again, ETFs. Watch that video on ETFs. It is a fantastic video explaining kind of everything I have to offer on what an ETF is, if you need to know what that is. But you can use ETFs, and you can place them in your 401k. You can place them in your Roth IRA, which are investing kind of accounts, and they're tools that you can use to avoid taxes legally. Okay, they're tax advantaged accounts. That's the word I was searching for. But you can invest in these. You can have them automatically funded every week, every 2 weeks, every month, however you so choose to do it. You don't even have to go into the account and make the investment. It can be made automatically for you. You can use your 401k plan through work and have that money automatically taken out of your paycheck. videos on 401ks and Roth IRAs coming at some point. But you do not have to do exactly what these two pictures are showing, and that's the reason they're crossed out, is you don't have to watch candlesticks and try and trade and play options and play risky strategies. And you don't have to actively watch the market, how it's moving up and down, and try and figure out ways to exploit it. You can simply invest in the broad market or in a broad sector like technology or energy, materials. You can track it and you can invest in that in a tax-advantaged Roth IRA or 401k account, and that's it. It's very, very simply, you can buy an ETF or an index fund, put it in a tax-advantaged account, and let it ride. You don't have to watch the market. It doesn't have to be difficult. So I'm going to throw this up. These are the social media accounts if you're interested, and that about does it for the video. If you have anything to add, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or things you just want to talk about and bring up in the comment section below, comment section is always open. Go ahead and drop a comment. I will definitely, if you do comment, I will like it. I will comment on it. I'll say something back to you. So go ahead and leave a comment. If SCHD is your spirit animal, go ahead and leave a like. And these are no longer active. Some news coming soon on that. This is the new @ for the social medias. So a little hint as to what kind of change might be happening. But those will be announced on all the various social medias as well as here at some point as well. So go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to join the friend group. If you want to be notified when the next video is coming out, go ahead and hit the bell next to the subscription icon. And after that, have a great day.